closer to ISIS,
why,
Richard,
as
there
a
were
senior
people being killed.
Would you suggest that that's what?
Because if you let me answer, my understanding, and you're closer to it than I, is this is a regime that was killing certainly possibly 5,000, possibly 35,000 of its own people, and imprisoning thousands more. It was a regime that I would have thought needed to go. So I'm asking, what possibly could it be that you admired in that regime?
What is going on, everybody? Alex here. Grab your popcorn, because a former British ambassador just walked into a live radio ambush and left the host with nothing but the dumbest gotcha question in broadcast history. Nick Ferrari, LBC's resident MAGA cheerleader, thought he was going to make Sir Richard Dalton look weak for choosing diplomacy over bombs. Instead, Sir Richard showed up with facts, history, and international law. And Ferrari ended up asking a former ambassador what he admires most about the Ayatollah's regime. That actually happened on live radio in front of everybody. And this is bigger than one embarrassing interview. This is the global MAGA machine trying to export its chaos straight into British politics. And the media is helping them do it every single morning. If you want commentary that connects the dots they don't want you connecting, subscribe right now, because this is exactly what Alex Takes is built for. Let's get straight into it. Turn it up.
Also early in the morning, Sir Jeremy Hunt, former Foreign Secretary and Chancellor of the Exchequer, of course, Conservative MP down in Godalming and Ash 11 after 7. Listening to that, Sir Richard Dalton, who served as British Ambassador to Iran and joins me now. The continuing, and I have to say, widespread criticism of Sir Keir Starmer in many of the newspapers' editorials this morning. Sir Richard, how fair is that criticism in your view? Good morning.
It's unfair. There was a verbal negotiation which the Israelis and the United States aborted. Secondly, we've caught the Americans on the raw at a time when they're having great difficulty domestically with justifying this war. There is no majority in the United States for this war. There was clear indications from leaders of Congress after the briefing a few days before it was launched that there was no reason shown to them why there was a case for compelling reasons for the United States to go to war at this time. They're now soft-pedaling their regime change justification. They are now preparing their people for a long period of war against what the American people had a hope to expect. So when Britain confirms the position taken by France, Germany, and itself and all our other European partners not to participate in the opening strikes, this is a difficult moment for the Americans, and they're lashing out against us, and we should not be unduly impressed by it. We should stick to a course which is in accordance with international law, while at the same time assisting the United States. That is, in brief, what Prime Minister Starmer is doing.
So when it comes to defending UK citizens in the region, we don't even do it ourselves?
We are doing it.
We're not, Sir Richard.
Assisting.
We're allowing US aircraft to do it.
We're actively assisting the United States in trying to destroy the Iranian missiles, which are raining down on.
But we didn't
the
even
Gulf
defend
states.
our own base in Cyprus, Sir Richard. We left that to the Americans as well. I mean, how impotent should the United Kingdom look in your view?
We're not looking impotent in the slightest. That was one small drone
which we didn't defend.
Launched by Hezbollah, and active steps were taken subsequently against the two drones that were directed at Akrotiri, which were successful. So we also have British planes in the skies assisting our partners in the Gulf to defend themselves against Iranian missiles. So the imputation that the UK is being weak is wrong.
When it comes to the Ayatollah and the now dead Ayatollah, what is it that gives you confidence that negotiations could have proceeded and come to fruition?
The clear statements by the Omani foreign minister who was mediating, and my own knowledge of the points which the Iranians were prepared to concede. These negotiations take time. Before they were aborted by Israel and the United States, many people pleaded for the United States to treat them seriously, but plainly they did not.
But what is it you admire most about the former Ayatollah's regime then?
What a daft question.
Why is that a daft question?
I haven't indicated any admiration for the Ayatollah's regime.
My understanding, and you'll be closer to it than I.
Why would you,
my
as a senior
understanding is, and you'll be closer to ISA, Richard, there were people being killed.
Would you suggest that that's what
Because if you let me answer, my understanding, and you're closer to it than I, is this is a regime that was killing certainly possibly 5,000, possibly 35,000 of its own people, and imprisoning thousands more. It was a regime that I would have thought needed to go. So I'm asking, what possibly could it be that you admired in that regime?
There are a great many regimes around the world which need to go. But the important issue for Britain's national security is the framework set out after the end of the First World War to minimize the chances of the law of the jungle taking over from international law should be preserved. I'm afraid that our right-wingers, including Jeremy Hunt, are forgetting the lessons of the sacrifices of 20th century generations to try and prevent the law of strong powers overwhelming the rights of nations. And as a relatively weak power, United Kingdom security is dependent long-term on re-establishing the rule of law.
But
now,
lastly,
we didn't go in with the United States on Vietnam
No, indeed.
or on Somalia.
But I just
we didn't
wonder,
participate in the war of choice against Yemen. It's nothing extraordinary for us to take a different position from the United States. And the people who are panicking about it are the Americans,
but I wonder,
because it's their domestic political problem, which they fear we have exacerbated.
Lastly, I wonder, Sir Richard, the rules, as you rightly point out, that were established after the First World War, with players such as President Xi, the late Ayatollah, President Putin on the world stage, are those laws still applicable? Laws that came about more than 100 years ago?
Oh, come on. 100 years ago, in the course of human history, when human nature is what it is...
But obviously we didn't have a Putin, or we didn't have an Ayatollah, or we didn't have a Xi at those times.
We have had lots of them in the past, and it is wrong for us to think that just because we face a Trump and a Putin now, the laws which are there to protect small nations...
And there it is, people. A former British ambassador just walked into a live radio ambush and left Nick Ferrari looking like the most intellectually outgunned man in the building. But let's zoom out, because this is so much bigger than one embarrassing interview. Nick Ferrari is not just a radio host with bad takes, he is a deliberate instrument of the global MAGA machine operating inside British media every single morning. His job, and I mean this literally, is to destabilize confidence in the British government, push pro-war narratives that align perfectly with Trump and Netanyahu, and make any politician who chooses diplomacy over bombs look weak, cowardly, and unpatriotic. That is the assignment, and he executes it daily. And here is what makes it truly dangerous. When Ferrari asked Sir Richard what he admires most about the Ayatollah's regime, that was not a clumsy mistake. That was a deliberate smear tactic. If you cannot defeat the argument, and Ferrari absolutely could not, you attack the character of the person making it. You imply they are sympathetic to the enemy. You make the audience distrust the messenger so they never have to engage with the message. It is the oldest dirty trick in right-wing media, and millions of people fall for it every single day. Sir Richard did not fall for it. He called it exactly what it was, a daft question, and then delivered the line that should have ended the entire debate right there. The framework of international law established after the First World War exists specifically to prevent powerful nations from simply bulldozing smaller ones into oblivion. And right now, with Trump in the White House, Netanyahu running one of the most aggressive military campaigns the modern world has seen, and Putin doing whatever Putin does, that framework is under more pressure than it has been in decades. Abandoning it now is not strength. It is catastrophic short-term thinking dressed up as toughness. Now here is the real-world context people need to understand. Britain has a long and complicated history of being dragged into American wars of choice. Vietnam, Britain stayed out. Somalia, Britain stayed out. Yemen, Britain stayed out. Keir Starmer choosing not to participate in the opening strikes against Iran is not weakness. It is a continuation of a principled British foreign policy tradition that goes back generations. The people screaming about impotence and cowardice are the same people who cheered every single disastrous military intervention of the last 30 years, and somehow never have to answer for any of it. And this is the part that should make every single one of you sit up straight. Because this is not just a British story. What you are watching is a coordinated, deliberate effort by the global MAGA movement to install their people in power across Europe. Nigel Farage is their guy in Britain. The attacks on Starmer are not random. They are strategic. Weaken the government, amplify division, make diplomacy look like surrender, make war look like strength. And then when the moment is right, your guy walks in. We have seen this exact playbook before. We know exactly how it ends. And the media, Nick Ferrari, GB News, the right-wing press, are not innocent bystanders in this. They are active participants. Every morning Ferrari sits behind that microphone and does the MAGA movement's work for them without a single American dollar officially changing hands. That is how sophisticated this operation has become. Sir Richard Dalton came in with history, with facts, with decades of actual diplomatic experience, and he held the line. That is what real strength looks like. Not bombs, not bluster, not warmongering dressed up as patriotism. The courage to stand in the middle of a media ambush and say, calmly, clearly, without flinching, "You are wrong, and here is exactly why." That is what Alex Takes is here for too, every single video. If this opened your eyes to something you weren't seeing before, subscribe to Alex Takes right now and share this with someone who needs to hear it. Because the MAGA machine is counting on you staying uninformed. Don't give them that. Stay sharp, everybody. Alex out.